What's up, y'all? This maker is actually called my last two historical illustrated books. I actually got help from librarians, including teachers, with the references and sources pertaining to the information. I present this to them and like, yo, this information legit, and they told me, yeah, this information is legit, even though they was very overwhelming surprised at the information that's actually within the book, because they was very unaware of it. Now, literally, aside from that, I also got help from teachers, from high school, mainly from like university, and including librarians. So this is information from the 5th and 6th book. I'm just going to show you. We're going to get directly into this. So you probably already saw this before. Where they actually said these are the 4 races of Egypt, or the races of Egypt. And I'm just going to break this down, because people like to say that this is actually a multiracial ancient civilization and etc. But in reality, that's cap. The races of ancient Egypt, by Western scholars, etc., states Egypt is a multiracial and cultural civilization. The Nile Valley civilization began 700,000 years ago by Homo sapiens, or practically modern man, or practically Africans. The Nile Valley, I'm gonna reveal the indigenous term and the Western term. The Nile Valley consists of Punt, P-U-N-T, which is the indigenous term. The Western term is Ethiopia, indigenous term Kemet, Western term Egypt, and indigenous term Kush, Western term Nubia. For multi-thousands of years, these 3 civilizations has used the Nile rivers for agriculture to produce variety of food supplies and building their civilization, and has culture traded, shared, and has used the Nile to travel between each other. Hence, originally, Nile Valley was an African civilization. The Libyans are from Libya, which is North Africa. I got the name of the individuals of this tribe who ran up and conquered a small portion of Egypt, practically Upper Egypt, in 1880 BC to 70 BC, which is 228 years. That's how long they ruled. They enforced themselves into pharaohhood and was worshipped and viewed as such. They began to set up shop in the region, but was defeated in the 20th dynasty of Egypt by this individual, I got his name right here, of this pharaoh, and was forced to be soldiers in the Egyptian army. So after the ancient Kemetics literally defeat them, they literally force the Libyans into their army. Now, these individuals here, which is called the Hyksos, are considered the Asiatic from present-day Pakistan, but is originated in the Levant, R-E-V-A-N-T, who has also ruled Egypt for 100 years, 1655 to 1570 BCE. But later, the Egyptians pushed out these individuals. I got the name of the individual who actually lead them out, so push them out, right? Showing you they are not from there and not indigenous to the region. In short, it's not a multi-racial civilization. It was originally black. So the civilization was originally an African civilization to these forms, and they're not the only ones. There's actually many others who actually ran up on Egypt and actually conquered it, and actually like one of I want to say it so bad, but it's many other individuals who actually ran up and conquered Egypt. It wasn't just these 2, but it's just that this picture right here, they keep showing like these are the individuals who actually is like the faces who inhabited Egypt. No, Egypt, everybody was keep running a train on ancient Kemet, and each individual who conquered it was forced themselves into pharaohhood, and forced individuals, the original inhabitants, worship me as your god, and I'm going to set up shop, and I'm going to make pictures of me, and it's like somebody breaking in your crib. Like seriously, you in your own house right now. I ran in your house and said, this is my crib now, and I'm putting up pictures and walls and put all these, a whole bunch of shit in your house. Your house is already settled there. You've been there for 10 years, nigga. I just came there day 1. I just, this is my house now. Fuck you. And I'm gonna start putting pictures, and I'm moving my TV in and all kinds of shit. And then you kick me out. That's what I meant. So the impact that I did to your house and the damage I've done is still present, even when I'm gone. You know what I mean? That's what's going on here. But the fact is that someone was expelled out. Like someone got fucked up, got their ass whipped, because they are the ops. They are not indigenous to the region. So the ancient commanders kicked them out, while others, they defeated them and said, look here, y'all, we're going to force you into our army, right? We're going to get to this one here. The New York Age published, this is on Saturday, August the 17th, 1935. This is on page 6. They have no explanation Why the colonizers saw Africans in large scale already in America and Mexico before slavery. Before being brought there, we was already here. They have an explanation. They don't know what the fuck these have. What's the word for it? You read it. It's right there. It's two scholars, Western scholars, and they all getting within the article. I got the name of it and everything. It's ridiculous. That's the cover up. They knew Africans was already here, but they had to cover it up. That's why I said when you watch my previous video, I said the statistics, different university has a different number on how many Africans was migrated from Africa to this destination, which is the New World. The numbers don't add up. And the numbers is much lower than the numbers that they entail. The numbers is much more dramatically much lower. We was already here. People keep saying the Native Americans are the black people. No, Africans is already here. We was already here, along with the Native Americans. We was already here with them. So when people talking about, oh, Africans just came here, no, we was already here. Stated by this article, and especially other information that I actually have. In this, especially when you cop my book that I already published, The African Presence in Ancient America. Cop that book, you'll know we was here. And then this book here, the Planet of the Blacks Part 2, is the chapter they're going to talk about the African Presence in Ancient America. You're going to see it. Then you know what? We're going to get further into this. I'm even going to bring up this. Also in Planet of the Blacks Part 2, country music. Country music is originated in Negro spirituals and field songs. Negro spirituals was the music that the enslaved African Americans made and has created songs about Christianity and Jesus when the colonizers gave us their God to worship. Negro spirituals was later renamed as gospel music. Field songs was the songs that was made on the plantation while using the banjo, B-A-N-J-O, which is an African musical instrument that has migrated from West or Central Africa to the New World. So when they took those Africans from Africa and brought them here, we had this musical instrument with us. Also this.
Minstrel.
The minstrel shows came into the 1850s, displaying the black face and creating stereotypes upon black people, right? The banjo was later introduced to them here. They shortly later made music that was stealing songs, etc., from black people. So we was been making country music. We was been making country music actually using this musical instrument. But when they got their hands on it, they start taking songs from us and start slapping their face on it. They start like putting it in their image. So when it was introduced to them here, they shortly later made music that was stealing songs, etc., from blacks. They called the music hillbilly music in the 1920s, and years later was renamed country music. It was to symbolize the music of the South. That's ours too. Know your fucking history. But these people can't. That's our, no, that's our history too. Now, one thing I just want to get into before I log off here, I'm actually going to show y'all. I really want to show y'all this, but video already too long as it is. Many of the ancient, this is all the Planet of the Blacks Part 2. Many of the ancient Mexican tribes, to be precise, many of the ancient Mexican tribes, to be precise, the Mayans, was found with sickle cell disease, first identified by anthropologists who was studying ancient Mayan remains. So this is what they dug up. So skeletons, through their burial sightings, this is what they dug up and found. Researchers, like these two individuals here, who have written articles about the topic of the remains that they dug up, concluding that African presence in ancient Mayan civilization, especially those of the West. Speaking of West Africa, sickle cell is originated in West Africa by the Bantu tribe, B-A-N-T-U tribe, and has spread it throughout west of Africa. The remains of these studies that was found, the remains of these studies that was found was the offspring of a genetic admixture of Mayan and West African. They said, what the fuck are these Mayans doing with African blood in them? What the fuck? It's way before, and it's many of them. They said, what the fuck they doing over here with that? I got the references right here. They said, we have no explanation of why these ancient Mayans have African blood in them. We don't know why it's there. They don't know why it's there. They're like, we don't know why it's there. And this are from universities. Other universities studied this to try to come with their explanation about, well, we have an answer. They don't have an answer. They said, well, they all said Africans was here. Africans was here. I didn't say that. They did. I got the name of the university, all that shit. There's several universities that said this. I guess we wasn't here though. I keep telling people, we was here. If you don't know your fucking history, you gonna believe the lies they telling you. All this information is in my book. Now these 2 books coming out now, and it's overwhelming more information. This here is just little bit information. Books will be out soon. Peace.